All right, our next story is about Ukraine. It has claimed yet another high-profile strike, and that is against Russia's Black Sea Fleet. On Thursday, the Ukrainian military intelligence said that its special forces struck a Russian vessel near a place called Novorossiysk, a Russian port city on the Black Sea. Ukraine said that they hit the Russian ship with a drone. Yes, a single drone did the damage. In a post on Telegram, Ukraine's military agency also identified the target as an MPSV-07 multipurpose ship, a vessel that is reportedly used for electronic reconnaissance. Ukraine's military intelligence, the HUR, said its special forces struck and disabled the high-value vessel on September 10th. Ukraine says the attack was carried out with a domestically manufactured combat drone, damaging the ship's electronic warfare systems. At the time of the attack, the Russian vessel had been carrying out electronic reconnaissance and patrolling the approaches to the bay there, a zone where Moscow has redeployed much of its fleet after repeated Ukrainian strikes in occupied Crimea. And there's more. According to the Kiev Post, the vessel in question is no ordinary target. It is reportedly one of only 4 in Russia's entire fleet, commissioned in 2015. The ship is worth an estimated $60 million. The drone targeted the vessel's bridge, destroying its navigation and communication systems and knocking out its electronic surveillance equipment. Ukraine says that the Russian ship was forced out of service and will now require expensive repairs. In recent times, Ukraine has ramped up its use of domestically manufactured sea and aerial drones against Russia in the Black Sea over the past year. It has claimed a string of successful attacks against the Russian Navy as well. The latest strike comes just days after Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Directorate released a video of another high-risk operation carried out by its primary special group. And that also happened in occupied Crimea. On September 1st, Ukrainian drones hit a Russian airbase in Novorossiysk. The Ukrainian drones reportedly destroyed at least 2 Mi-8 combat helicopters, each valued between $20 to $30 million. Another equally damaging blow came in the Sevastopol Bay when a Ukrainian strike hit a Russian military tugboat believed to be the Buk 2190. According to Ukrainian intelligence, that vessel belonged to Russia's elite PDSS underwater sabotage unit, which Ukraine destroyed. A force of diver reconnaissance specialists trained over years at enormous cost and is equipped with advanced gear. The HUR had claimed that its operation and the destruction of the tugboat had majorly limited the combat capabilities of the elite Russian unit. Remember, the Crimean Peninsula, annexed by Russia in 2014, remains a crucial launchpad for Russia war, a region that remains a top priority for both sides in the war. Russia continues to use this region to deploy aviation and stage missile strikes deep inside Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukraine's stated goal has been the reclaiming of this region. In other news, NATO's eastern shield is now rattling. NATO says Russian drones breached its territory. Poland is sealing its skies and Germany is sending boots to Lithuania. But Moscow says it's all a myth. It denies targeting Poland. Now, the UNSC will convene tomorrow at Poland's request over drone intrusions by Russia. Our next report telling you more.
19 unidentified military drones screaming across Polish skies at midnight. NATO's eastern flank supposedly impregnable, crumbling under the weight of outdated radars and stretched resources. Experts call it Europe's most dangerous wake-up call. The unprecedented breach triggered Article 4 consultations for the first time since Russia's full-scale invasion. Polish F-16s, Dutch F-35s, scrambled in panic as mysterious drones penetrated deep into NATO territory.
This Russian provocation, as you know perfectly well, generals and soldiers, was nothing more than an attempt to test our capabilities.
Poland immediately imposed total flight bans along its eastern border. Germany is rushing an entire brigade to Lithuania. This is one of Europe's largest military reinforcements since the Cold War. A desperate scramble to plug gaping holes in NATO's defences.
Well, this incident is probably a timely warning to NATO to move expeditiously in the direction of putting greater air defence assets into Eastern Europe, but that could be an unpleasant trade-off when it comes to helping Ukraine.
Moscow vehemently denies involvement in the drone incursion, while asserting that no facilities in Poland were planned to be targeted. Russia also points out that Polish authorities found no traces of explosives on drone fragments. The war in Ukraine has turbocharged drone warfare, transforming $1,000 quadcopters into strategic weapons and turning battlefield improvisation into policy. Ukraine produces millions of drones a year as Russia refines swarming tactics. NATO, heavy on tradition, now finds itself scrambling. Current systems were never built to target hundreds of small, low-flying intruders. For Europe, adaptation is no longer a strategic option. It's a question of survival at the frontier of a new war. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Should physiotherapists be allowed to use the doctor prefix? It's a question stirring debate in medical and academic circles across the country and beyond. Some argue that it is a matter of qualification and respect, while others argue that it could cause confusion among patients. In the latest, India's Director General of Health Services, which is the central regulatory body for healthcare, has directed the National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Professionals to withdraw a provision in the new physiotherapy curriculum that earlier allowed physiotherapists to use the prefix doctor. According to the National President of the Indian Medical Association, the move risked physiotherapists prescribing medicines despite not being qualified medical professionals. In a letter to IMA, Dr. Sunita Sharma, who is the Director of Health Services, stated that unless physiotherapists are enrolled in the state medical register, they cannot practice modern medicine or use the prefix doctor. Now, when we talk about the professional boundaries, physiotherapists are regulated professionals under the RCI Act. And using the doctor prefix blurs the lines, perhaps, between the scope of practice and that of medical doctors. Earlier, in April 2025, the National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Professionals under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare issued a new physiotherapy that recommended physiotherapists to use the doctor prefix. However, this proposal was met with strong objections from doctors' associations like the Indian Medical Association, after which they asked to remove the doctor prefix. As the United States of America observes the 24th anniversary of 9/11 attacks, the man who led U.S. troops to eliminate terror mastermind Osama bin Laden continues to languish in a Pakistani jail. This in spite of earlier promises made by President Donald Trump and the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio to secure his release. Our next report telling you more.
On September 11, 2001, The world witnessed one of the biggest terror strikes in US history. The attacks on the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York and headquarters of the US Department of Defense, the Pentagon in Virginia. Al-Qaeda claimed responsibility for the attack, prompting the US invasion of Afghanistan and its quest to hunt down its leader, Osama bin Laden.
It was nearly 10 years ago. The bright September day was...
It would take 10 years before the United States could trace and eliminate the dreaded mastermind. All thanks to the help of Pakistan doctor Shakil Afridi. Dr. Afridi helped United States by running a fake vaccination program to gather DNA from bin Laden's family. This led the CIA and Joint Special Operations Command eliminating bin Laden after raiding his compound in Abbottabad in Pakistan. 20 days after bin Laden was killed, Dr. Afridi was taken into custody on 23rd of May 2011. This prompted an outrage in America, who cut federal aid to Pakistan if Dr. Afridi was not released. US President Donald Trump promised in his 2016 election campaign that he would get Dr. Afridi released in 2 minutes if elected. However, that promise continues to be forgotten. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, in an interview in 2016 during his presidential campaign, also advocated for the release of Dr. Shakil Afridi. In June this year, when former Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari visited the United States, US Congressman Brad Sherman raised the issue once again, pressing Islamabad to release the doctor. Now, as the world commemorates the 9/11 attacks, Dr. Shakil Afridi's imprisonment in Pakistan continues as a stark reminder of the country's duplicity in its approach to counter-terrorism. Bureau Report, WION World is One.